Hey everybody, this is the Men's League TV update for September the 11th, 2024. Yesterday, like the conditions ideal. Yeah, just the course conditions fabulous. If you can keep your ball in the fairway, your scoring should be good, but scoring wasn't very good. I'm going to get that in a minute. We have a lot on the agenda today. We've got Tyler making a prediction. We have, and I want to go over all the different races we have. We'll talk about men's clothes, National Golf League, a lot of stuff to talk about today. So, first of all, I'm going to share my screen today because I want you to see just a summary of last night's action. Let's start there. And this is an interesting report. I'm going to make it bigger. Interesting report I have here. This gives you the what's happened last night. So we had three players with a low gross of 34. This is by the season highs report. Skylar O'Donnell, Jared Coyle, and Elliot Riddell. Luke Presso and Colin O'Neill had the low net of 29. Congratulations to both those guys, because we didn't have a lot of great scoring yesterday. I think we only had 21 players a break 22 or better, and I think only 11 teams got 40 or more better. So Ken Cheeseman, congratulations, 3 birdies, very good and excellent. And on the season so far, Russ Cat, of course, had that wonderful 9-putt day, and Jared Coyle still leads with his low gross of 30. There are prizes for some of these things at the end of the year. Just to go over the captains, box scores for yesterday. These are the players that were 20 or better points. These are the teams that did it. Team Aerosmith. Oh my God, Team Aerosmith. Am I going to talk about that? Yeah, I want to talk about that. Team Aerosmith, 43 points yesterday. Big day. Team Aerosmith got 43 points with their captain up in London, England, having a great old time, abandoning his team, and they come through big time. Maybe there's something there. Maybe there's something to that. Maybe Aerosmith is onto something. Leave the team, abandon them, leave them on their own, and let's see how they do. Well, they not only did well, they won last night. And to make matters worse, this guy is so lucky. Aerosmith wins $15. He's not even here. Everybody on the team gets 15, and including him. Yeah, that guy's so lucky. Yeah, not a lot more going on with the team yesterday. So let's get into the playoffs, the team playoffs, what happened yesterday. And we'll start off with the C team finals. You can see that Team Chanette and Team Basada basically tied. And of course, a tie goes to the lower seeded team. So Team Basada moves on. If we don't do that, why play the regular season? You got a regular season. You got to use the results from that somehow. Team Al Hattab beat a Team Fleck in second round. Team Card, just a lot of their players didn't show up yesterday. It was only Mark Balsamo and Neil Card, and they didn't do as well. Team Jones moves on. And Team Nicholson, big night for them, 41 points beating Team LaChance, so they move on. They play Team Jones in the next round. We're going to do a preview of this with Tyler in a few seconds. So, in the B finals, Team Hall lost to Team Bull, so they go on to play Team Aerosmith, who beat Team LeBlanc. Team Aerosmith had the highest point total. Unfortunately, Team LeBlanc ran into them. My team, Team Monesteel, lost to Team Beggs, 37-35. And Team Pereira, another big night for them. They beat Team Lockyer. So it's Pereira versus Beggs, Aerosmith versus Bulls. In the A finals, Team Chambers and Team Boyle. Team Chambers moves on. This is a tough one. I hate to see it. They both tied with terrible scores. 31. You'd imagine that. 31. That's nothing. But Team Jones finished ahead in the standings by 1 seed, so they move on. Team Riddell also had a bad day yesterday and got beat by last year's champion, who are coming on strong. I'll tell you right now, Team Pat Fitzgerald, 39 points. And Team Beasley, it's a surprise team. They're the upset team. They're into the semifinals with playing Team Fitzgerald as they beat Team Chaput 40-37. So we're going to do a preview of that with Tyler. I just want to mention we have our 4 flight finalists. We'll talk about that more in Tyler's interview. But Aiden Coyle won the A, Josh Stanley won the B, JP Coué won the C, and Jim Busco won the D. All close, all very close. So they're playing off next week at 11:57. Okay, let's pause for a minute here. And let's take a look at Tyler's interview preview predictions for next week. Tyler, last week, we had really good matches last week in the team finals. And before I get into this week's, let's just review who you picked last week and how they did. In the A final, in the A team final, you picked Team Ray Jones over Team Sheridan, and both teams sucked. I got to tell you, they both got 31 points. In the playoffs, the team with a higher seed, or the lower, I guess the lower seed, Team Jones, who was seeded 4th, Team Sheridan seeded 5th. So Team Jones moves on. So you got that one.
All right.
So, in the B, okay, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. You picked Team Aerosmith over Team LeBlanc. Team Aerosmith had their best night last night. They're the top team, Team 43, despite the fact that their captain is out gallivanting in London, England. Like the captain of the Achille Lauro. He leaves the ship. You guys can play for yourself. I don't really care. I'm going to go party. Goes and parties. His team rallies, got 43 points out of a possible 44 last night.
Wow.
See that? Well, he's having a good time in London, England. His team finishes 1st place overall this week, so they each win $15, including him.
That's great.
They did beat Team LeBlanc. Okay. So in the C finals, you picked Team Fleck against Team Al Hattab. And unfortunately, Team Al Hattab, well, fortunately for them, they had 39 points. Team Fleck had 36, so they move on.
Okay.
Okay. In the flight championships, you picked Phil Byrne in the B, and Phil didn't win. It was close, though, I'll tell you. Phil was telling me about it. 3 people were tied going down the 9th hole, and Phil had to give strokes to somebody. And Jeff Stanley parred the hole. Phil bogeyed the hole, but one of the guys that Phil had to give strokes to bogeyed the hole, net par, which meant that Phil didn't get that point, which he lost, and Jeff Stanley slips in, so he's in the final. In the C, I didn't get. I just know who won. It's JP Coué, and you picked him.
All right.
And in D, you picked the silent assassin, Tony Adams, but unfortunately, Tony did not have a good round. Jim Busco came victorious. And in the A, I can't remember. Did you pick Aiden Coyle?
No, I didn't pick Aiden.
Who did you pick?
I picked Baker.
Oh, Kyle Baker. Right. Got it. Right, Kyle Baker. Okay. So Aiden won. That. And so next week, we'll get to that in a minute. We're going to have Aiden, and we're going to have JP, and we're going to have Jim Busco, and I'll give you the handicaps as well. So this week, though, let's share my screen here. We're going to look at some of the matchups. Let's go with the C finals. In the semifinal, we'll have Team Jerry Ann Jones with Greg Gilbert Jerry Jones, Tom McComb, Art Ridgway, and Claude Tessier versus Team Dave Nicholson with Derek Allen, Mike DeButt, John Marks, Dave Nicholson, and Broden Robichard. Sorry.
All right, I'm feeling good on this one, John. We're going with Team Jones.
Team Jones. Okay, let me write that down. C final. In the B final. That should be a good match.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. B final. We've got, let me just highlight it for you here. We have Team 44, Team Bowles, Chris Bowles, Chris Deirdrick, Dino Giorgio, Adam Lee, and Ted McEwen versus Team Steve Aerosmith. He should be back from England by that time. Maybe if he wants to come back. I don't know. Maybe his team doesn't want him back. They found him. Chris Burkers, Gary Dorkin, Ryan O'Connell, and Pete Richardson. What a solid team that is.
Those are both great teams, John. This is a tough one. Boy, oh boy. I mean, my heart wants to go out to Aerosmith and pick that team, but I gotta go with Chris Bowles this time.
Okay. I'm going to go against you on that one. There's too much experience on that Aerosmith team. They won it 2 years ago. They're solid. And Pete Richardson's having a great year. Steve Aerosmith's having a great year. So I don't know. I just don't. I think they're going to win that.
Okay.
In the A finals, last year's champions, the Fitzgerald team, Pat Fitzgerald. Has Andrew Buzza, Pat Fitzgerald, Jeff Gifford, Mark Nickel, and Terry Van Kessel. Now, they won it last year against Team 22, an upstart, if you ever heard of one. You've got Team Wayne Beasley. And I played with Wayne yesterday, and God bless him, that guy can hit a ball. He can hit a ball. He's amazing. Walks the course. He's in his 80s, and just an amazing man. Wayne Beasley. Jim Busco had a great round. Dan Corville, who won the previous week, was a top player previous week. Alex Sinclair and Matt Walsh.
You know what? I'm liking the last name of the first group there, Fitzgerald. That's the team I'm going with today.
Team Pat Fitzgerald. And yeah, Terry Van Kessel is playing well.
You know, a lot of this, and you know, you've made this point before, it's who shows up every week, you know, and we got to look at the people who show up constantly and put in a good score. I know a lot of these people are. That's why it's so tough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know both these teams have players that show up. I think Team Pat Fitzgerald has a bigger history. They've been together a long time. You know, I think, but they show up. They do come. Wow, what an exciting flight final we had. All the matches were close, as I understand it. They came down to the final hole. So, I mean, now we've got the 4 champions facing off against each other. We've got Aidan Coyle, who will have a handicap of 0. And these are 18-hole handicaps. So they're only playing 9 holes. But if they're tied after 9, then they go sudden death until someone wins. That's why I gave him an 18-hole handicap.
Okay. You know, I made
0 handicap.
0, yeah.
Jeff Stanley, the winner of the B, has 11. JP Kaway, the winner of the C, has a 17. And Jim Busco, the winner of the D, has a handicap of 20. This is going to be tough to pick because you got Jim Busco. He's going to get a stroke on every hole. 2 on number 4. JP Kaway is going to get 7 strokes on the front 9. And I mean, 7. And then Jeff Stanley is going to get 11. Is it odd on the front? He might get 6.
Odd on the front, yeah. No, and this is where I have to think, you know, are a lot of these people kind of just steady bogey golfers, or can they make birdies? Can these people make birdies? So that's the only way you're going to beat Aidan is by making pars, net birdies.
Right.
You know what? I made the mistake going against Aidan last week. I'm not going to make that mistake this week. I'm going for Aidan Coyle.
Well, I'll tell you, he's got a tough road to hoe. I'm gonna go with Jeff Stanley. I think if you give Jeff Stanley 6 strokes and he gets 3 or 4 pars, I think this one's over. So I'm gonna go with Jeff. You're gonna go with Aiden. Okay, that's good, Tyler. And I'm gonna go with Jeff here. And you know what? JP could sneak in. I mean, if he gets a couple of pars, all these guys got to do is get 2 or 3 pars. He's not going to get 4 or 5 birdies, 4 birdies. Well, maybe he might.
That's right. He could. That's
No, I'm not saying he's not capable, but I mean,
Right,
it's
no.
hard to do that every week. These guys do this every week, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
gonna be tough.
What- Yeah. Well, it'll be exciting. It'll be close. It'll be close.
And then Jim Busco, the handicap at 20, he's going to get 2 strokes on number 4. 2
Yeah.
strokes.
You'll
And
need them.
yeah. And if he gets a 5, net birdie,
That's right. That's right.
you know.
Oh,
Anyway, Tyler, thank you very much for joining me today. And this is a lot of fun. I got to tell you, this is a lot of fun. And the guys get a kick out of it. Do you get any feedback from them? You get any
oh,
feedback from the
all the
boys?
time. They're like, "Why didn't you pick me?"
Yeah.
They're knocking on my door all the time. They don't like me.
Well, expect some more knocks, buddy. Hey, thank you, Tyler. And I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, John. Talk to you
Bye
later.
now.
Bye.
Well, thank you, Tyler. That was very, very good. And we'll see how it works out. Now I'm going to take a look at the races for each of the different things because there's prizes for a lot of these at the end of the year. So let's take a look at some of the races. First of all, let's go look at the overall races. Overall Masters race, I'm going to make this bigger so you can see it. 150. Okay, overall Masters race, it's tight. The top 10 players win big prizes. So, I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we're going to have to, we have a tiebreaker of who's leading the week before. So that's going to be interesting, but look how tight it is. Like a top 10, there's only 4 points separating. Keith Ritchie and Clark Cada are leading it now, but Kevin's right behind Chen Holmes right there. Art Ridgway's right there. Lyle Sides is right there. Steve Aerosmith's right there. Well, that's going to be interesting. In the mid-amateur, equally as tight. As you can see, Charles LaPointe is leading by 1 over JP Coué, Ted McEwen, Ken Watson. Look how tight these races are. We're fighting for the top 10. Wow. And don't forget, the overall point winner, the person with the highest point of all 3, goes on to win the final trophy. Also, if there are ties for the top place for the overall trophy, it'll be broken at men's close. So that's interesting. What else have we got here? Masters, what do we got? Intermediate. Okay, intermediates are here. And what do we got? We got Aiden Coyle. He's up by 2 over Derek Allen, Kyle Baker, Elliot Riddell. Again, Elliot, last year's champion, last year's finalist, I should say. Jared Coyle, they're all close. Everything is close. It's tight, just the way it should be. So it's going to come down to the last 2 weeks to see who's going to take this. We're week 21 and 22 to play yet, and we got great weather next week, so that should be good. In the birdie race, gross birdie, Jared Coyle leads with 33 over his brother Aiden and David Denny 26. These are way down from last year. Jared had 39 birdies last year at this time. So, but still, he's still leading, and good for him. In the net birdie race, again, let's take a look at this at 150. Phil Byrne leads with 50 over Gary Chamberlain, Chris Bowles, Jerry Munette. And so that race is very, very close. In the putting awards, look at this. We have got Ryan Valley leading by 0.1 over Damian Bloy and 0.4 over Angelo Buffoni. Chris Kelly's in there with 320. A lot of it's in there. Ryan's got the inside track, but one good putting day by any of these guys, and they can move forward. In the gunner, And the gunner is top 10 best scores. Jared Coyle leads by 1 over Aiden. It's tight. One good week for any one of these guys, and they're gonna usurp and go ahead. So it's a little high this year. Believe it or not, 33.7 is a high score for these guys. They usually are into the 32 range or the low 33 range, and it's a bit higher than normal, but still excellent race. In the Ringer Awards, the Ringer is of course the your best. The gross ringer, net ringer is your best net score on each hole. Right now we have 5 tied at 20, but I believe Jason Seymour was there first, so he is actually leading this race until somebody gets a better score on one of these holes. 20 is the score, but the prize goes to the first person who got it. In the gross ringer, David Denis is leading. He had an eagle on which hole did he eagle? That was a non-standard hole. I thought he eagled number 5. Well, I guess that's it. And so that his eagle is counting now. He's birdied every hole. He eagled 5, so he's got to score 25. Chris Byrne, Chris Byrne could tie him with a birdie on 2. And Aiden, surprisingly enough, or Jared hasn't eagled 5 yet, so they could tie him. So that's going to be close coming down to the end. So that's just a look at some of the races that we have going on, and certainly I wanted to share that with you. We have so far 5 teams going to the NGL. If you're going to get an email from me, you will have to register you and your partner for the NGL. I'll give you all the registration information. It's on a link, and you can register at Summerlee. And I'm waiting for another response. I still haven't got a response from one person yet. And when I get that response, we're allowed to send 6 teams, not 8 teams this year. So NGL, and it happens October 1st. And what a great opportunity for those people. Men's close. I've been mentioning this for a while now. There are going to be 5-man teams. If you don't have 5 persons, just sign up who you do have. 1, 2, 3, or 4. We'll make teams up. Don't worry. If there's spots empty, I've got 4 pros that can go out with you that'll fill in those teams. And it's a step aside scramble. It's handicapped using the RBC formula. It's a lot of fun. There are a lot of prizes for that day. So there'll be stuff to do that. There's a breakfast in the morning and a dinner. It's not included. You have to pay for those. And the reason for that, and people ask me, why don't you include? I can't include it this year. I can't. I've got 240 golfers. Not everybody can play. I can only take 180 golfers on men's close. That's it. So it's not fair. Make everybody pay for a meal they're never going to get. And some people don't want the meal, and that's fine. They just take off, or they'll have a drink and move on, and that's fine. We usually get about 100 show up for the meal afterwards, and then we do a prize presentation. So it's I hope you come. I hope you share that. We don't get a chance to meet as a group too often, and just do what we can do. And this is the one chance we do get to meet. And the prices for the meals are present. I think it's 17 for the breakfast and 42 for the dinner. It's a chicken and ribs dinner. I hope you enjoy it. It was very good last year. It includes dessert and everything else. So that's men's close. I'm going to keep pumping that till we get it. I'm going to ask you to, once again, click on the link for the survey and put that information in. I haven't talked a lot about the survey results yet. I am leaning toward a solution for next year. I think I want to run a trial, and I'll go over that in a future video. I want that separate and distinct in what we're going to be doing next year. So, but please fill it in. I need the feedback. I got to talk it over with Phil and, my ideas and what we're going to do. The 50-50 draw. Now the 50-50 draw is going up. I'm going to be pumping this for the next few weeks. We're going to be pumping it at Men's Clothes. I'm going to be asking people at Men's Clothes to go around and sell you more tickets. We are $20 a square. You win half the price. Half the price goes to the first tee program. And the more we can sell, the better. If we can sell out, it does help us quite a bit. So please do that. Because the money is a worthwhile endeavor for the first tee, and we need your support here. So buy a ticket for the 50-50 draw. That's pretty well it for this week. You know, it's getting close to the end. The weather has been gorgeous. It looks like we're going to get another good week. I just read Environment Canada said there's going to be a warm fall. So if our close is as warm as it was last year, we're going to have a great day. So I hope you all sign up for the close. Please take the time and do that. And try to make yourself available for the September 28th. And so, guys, until next week, play well.